What does maybe wrong look like from a leadership perspective in delivering, some bad news?
Sure. Well, I think as soon as a leader forgets that the decisions at the end of the day are actually about people, that's where things go wrong. So, a lot of the time, some of the tough decisions they involve money in several cases, or a certain direction that involves change in organizational structure. And when leaders forget that all of those decisions are affecting people, that's where things go wrong. So, the way that I like to coach people that need to be able to speak about what's happening when they're sharing their decisions is reminding them that at the end of the day, the decisions are about those people and that they're talking to them directly. So the people that are going to be hearing their message are the ones that are affected by the decision. So the more that they can put themselves in those people's shoes, that's going to help them with the way they communicate. So it's that whole conversation with yourself, that if you were to receive this news and put yourself in their shoes, what would you want to hear? And it's not that we can soften the news, but it's what would you need to hear in that moment if bad news was being delivered to you. So we can give some examples when it comes to layoffs, if you'd like, in that kind of a scenario. But in the case as of recently, if you've been watching some things with the city of Edmonton, we've unfortunately had to temporarily lay off several thousand employees, and that's probably one of the toughest decisions in the city of Edmonton's history as an organization, and that did not come lightly at all. But what was critical in delivering the message for both the city manager and the mayor is being empathetic to those are individuals' lives that not only are being temporarily laid off, but during a time like a COVID crisis where they're already struggling inside with their families at home. So what message can we tell them? Is there anything we can do for them? What is it that we're looking out for? How are we supporting their families through this change? What do Edmontonians need to hear in terms of what's going to be affected because of this change? So just trying to think through a little bit of the chain in terms of everyone that's going to be affected by this decision. So saying it coldly will not help.
Yeah,
And in
and
this
and,
case,
and
you might have
so
seen that Adam actually teared up when he delivered the news, and the mayor even teared up when he delivered the news. That wasn't fake; that was real. But they are empathetic individuals, so that helps.
well, and so there's so much to talk about there, and one of which is, ultimately leadership is a people business, right? And I think as leaders, a couple things, even before we talk about even what is the message, it's important to recognize that why do you think leaders, why is it so difficult to deliver bad news? And then we'll start to talk about, unpack the whole people part of it. But in my experience, as leaders, we often try to avoid that tough conversation. But realistically, again, in my experience, people just want to know, right? Like they just want, they're not dumb, they're adults, they know what's going on. And so where do you balance the truth of the situation and the reality while still trying to temper it? That it's really a balance, don't you think?
Yes, I think that any leader that has to relay news has to mentally prepare themselves for the news coming out. You do need to practice it even once or twice before saying it so you can, keep your composure, but also be able to deliver the message clearly and feel ready to deliver that message. Because like you said, it's not fun to deliver the news sometimes. So anything a leader needs to do, whether that's deep breathing before going out to deliver the message, saying it to your trusted communications person first, just to get it out, to say it out once, because you really want to be able to, when you're delivering those key messages, to be able to show that you do care. And it's okay to break down a little when you're delivering bad news. It just shows that you're human. So I've never shied away from that. When a leader has teared up a little bit, if anything, it does show that, like I said, they are very empathetic and that they are feeling it in the moment. But if you know that that's a chance for yourself as a leader in your organization, you may wish to, surround yourself with the good supportive people around you, knowing that you have to deliver that bad news. What are you doing right before that moment? How will you not be distracted before you deliver that news? What are you doing after that news gets delivered? Things like that.